Okay, so let's write another function, right? So here, the function that we are going to write, that will be basically factorial function that will compute the factorial of a given number, right? So if you pass, let's say 4, so it will give you the factorial of 4, which will be basically equivalent to 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, and it will be 24. If you pass 5 to the function, it will give you 120, because factorial of 5 is 120. 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, right? So let's write that function and use it. Okay. So here, let me create a new file. And let me exclude this file from project. So here, let me do the basic thing. Int main and 0. And here I can define the factorial function here, but let's say I define after main, right? So here the factorial of factorial grows very fast. So like if you give, let's say, factorial 10, it will be a large number. So instead of having the return type as int, we can keep it long basically, right? Or long. So what we can do basically, we can do this long factorial type. Let's keep it long. Long will be another big number. So here the return type is long. So it will be a large number, right? So factorial function, if you recall it, so in factorial function we pass a number, right? Let's say, for example, factorial 5, factorial 4, right? So we pass a number. So let's say that number is num, right? So this is basically, and let's say factorial is always a positive number. So let's say unsigned long, right? So here what we have basically, so we have to also declare an unsigned long that is called, let's say, prod, and we initialize it with 1. Okay. And then what we are going to do basically, we can write a loop here while num minus greater than 0, then we will do prod is equal to prod times num. Okay. So what we are doing basically, we start with num, we basically subtract it after every iteration, right? Or we can, like, for simplicity, you can do here if you want, num is equal to num. Okay, so that we are doing here, right? So here we are doing that. This code is simple. What we are doing basically, we multiply product by num, then num is decremented by 1, and if that new num is greater than 0, then again we do this, we decrement num by 1, and so on. So basically, let's say if you pass 5, so first time 5 is greater than 0, so you multiply prod with 5, so prod will become 5. Then you decrement 5 by 1, so 5 will become 4. 4 greater than 0, that's true. Then prod, which became 5 times 4, 20, and so on. This will go on, right? And then at the end, what we will do basically, we can return prod. Okay? All right. So now here we will have that, let's say, n. Okay. And we ask user cout enter n, and then cin n. So here in these two lines, the user is basically entering the value of n, and then here we can display that cout factorial of, say, factorial of n is, and then we can call the function here. So here you see that in this line, we are calling this function, right? So when we are calling this function with a value n, So this n will be assigned to num, and then the function will compute this prod value, which is the factorial value, and then this function will return this prod, right? So whatever value that this function is returning, that will replace basically this thing. So if let's say you pass n as 5, so prod will be 120. So 120 will replace this place. If you pass, let's say 4, so factorial of 4 is 24. So 24 will be here. You see that, okay? So now let's run this program. So we have, so again here, what we have, basically we have defined the function, but we have not declared its, we have defined after the main function. So we have to declare its prototype here, right? Okay, so here, what I'm going to use, okay, so I have declared the prototype, right? So here I have declared the prototype of this function. Now let's run this. So let's say I pass 10, okay? So factorial of 10 is this one, okay? Okay, so that's the thing, right? Okay, so you get that. So here, when you have this, so you enter the value of n here in line number 8 and 9, and then you call, in line number 11, you have cout factorial of n, which is 10, let's say 10 we have entered, factorial of 10, colon, and then this function factorial n is called, right? So n, the value n is here 10, so that 10 will be copied to num, and then factorial will compute factorial of 10, and then it returns to you in line number 11, right? So where you see factorial 10, that will be replaced by the value basically, okay? So that's how we also define, that's how we define function, right? And how we use it, right? So this part is called function prototype. This part is called function calling. So here main is calling factorial, so it's called caller, and factorial is being called, so it's called callee. And then this is here that you see the definition of factorial function, okay?